hey, Gilliam was good, Bradshaw was better.
Again, I'm not going to buy that. Yeah, he won 4 Super Bowls, and he was the quarterback. But he wasn't any better than me. I know it. He knows it.
I thought that he was the quarterback of the now and in the future of Pittsburgh. I actually looked at him and saw a guy that I thought was better than me. I've never thought that, and I actually thought that of Joe.
And I hear people say, boy, you ought to be sitting up there with Bradshaw on TV. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
He easily could have been him instead of me. He absolutely had what it takes to have led the Steelers to the Super Bowl. He gave me my job back. I didn't earn it back. That's another thing. I didn't beat him out.
And I'm sure that he had never seen a black guy that could throw and play like I could.
He was just really impressive. A lot of poise in the pocket, threw the football, read the coverages. I mean, he did it all.
Would you say realistically that he has a good fighting chance to be your #1 quarterback at the beginning of the season?
Well, he's done very well in preseason. He's been the most productive, and that's what we look at.
This was a story that had kind of been lost to history. Those familiar with the first part of Joe's story might have wondered whatever became of him. Others might not have known the story at all.
It's a story of maybe hope and failure. It's a story that should be told.
The story is so unique, and I think, you know, what would be great in this story is to show the pictures of what he could do back then compared to the pictures of what quarterbacks are doing now. If you start to see that, it starts giving you the visualization as far as, wait a second, this guy really was somebody special.
I thought that he was the quarterback of the now and in the future of Pittsburgh. I actually looked at him and saw a guy that I thought was better than me. I've never thought that, and I actually thought that of Joe.
Joe was a tremendously talented guy.
With Joe playing the way he was playing and the things he brought to the table as far as a quarterback, there's no question I thought he could have won multiple Super Bowls.
Could Joe have won Super Bowls? Yes, he could have.
Joe is probably 3 decades ahead of where he should be. I mean, because where he was, I mean, he's the perfect quarterback now.
He ran out there wearing number 17. I said to myself, if he could play in the National Football League, I can too.
I came in with Joe Gilliam, and I was just amazed to see this skinny kid throw this football. I could not believe his talent.
The 3rd Super Bowl meeting between the Cowboys and the Steelers has brought to mind some great names. O'Donnell and Aikman here in the present, Staubach and Bradshaw from the past. But there's another former quarterback whose story is unfolding far from this Super Bowl in Tempe, Arizona. Bob Costas went to find it.
I walk. If it gets real cold, I seek some temporary shelter. A building, a store, or I stay for a few minutes, warm up, keep walking, stay up, especially if it's real cold. I'm not gonna lay down. If it gets real cold, I keep moving.
It's been a long journey since Joe Gilliam became the first black starting quarterback in the NFL. He led the Steelers to a 4-1-1 record to open the '74 season. But then Chuck Noll turned to Terry Bradshaw, and it was Bradshaw who quarterbacked the Steelers to their first Super Bowl.
There's no doubt that you were subject to racism in the form of incidents and hate mail, and the Steeler organization received it too. There's no doubt about those attitudes existing then and to some extent still existing now. But do you think race had anything to do with the decision to remove you as the starting quarterback? Because someone could argue, hey, Gilliam was good, Bradshaw was better.
Again, I'm not going to buy that. Yeah, he won 4 Super Bowls, and he was the quarterback. But he wasn't any better than me. I know it. He knows it.
I thought that he was the quarterback of the now and in the future of Pittsburgh. I actually looked at him and saw a guy that I thought was better than me. I've never thought that, and I actually thought that of Joe.
And I hear people say, boy, you ought to be sitting up there with Bradshaw on TV. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
After one more Super Bowl season in Bradshaw's shadow, Gilliam's career unraveled. He turned to drugs and soon was out of the NFL. Then came a series of arrests and finally a conviction for armed robbery. The truth is, Gilliam grew up in a stable home, the son of a coach. Now 45, he didn't come from the streets. He wound up on the streets.
Several people have said, including your ex-wife, including a newspaper columnist, longtime friend of yours, guy you've known for years, don't give Joe Gilliam money anymore. Not because you don't care about him, but because at least some of that money is going to go to drugs, and the only way that his life is going to turn around is if people cut him off and force him to make that choice.
That's not true. Point blank. That's not true.
What part's not true?
The part that some parts of it are really drugs. You know, because a guy has a drug-related history and doesn't have anywhere to stay, doesn't mean he uses drugs.
When was the last time you used drugs?
It's been a while. That's what I'm going to say.
What's a while?
I'm going to say a while.
Now, you know somebody watching this is going to say, even if my sympathies are with him, if he's saying a while could be 2 hours, a while could be a week, a while could be a month.
And they can construe it how they want.
Do you have a problem today with drugs?
Today, no. I'll have a problem with drugs for the rest of my life. I'm an addicted person, so it'll never go away.
Now, among the Nashville streets, the former Tennessee State star roams is the one that gave him his nickname.
Jefferson Street's changed, and so have I.
The comparison, though, was to Joe Namath. He was Broadway Joe.
Exactly.
He had a strong arm and a quick release.
Exactly.
And that's what you had. He had a little bit of flair, more than a little, and that's what you had.
Exactly.
You even wore white shoes occasionally. So if he was Broadway Joe, you were Jefferson Street Joe.
Exactly.
Magical football memories remain, but they are far from today's reality. Gilliam acknowledges he's contemplated suicide, but he says a memory stops him.
You had a sister who committed suicide.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
The student here.
Yeah.
One of those dormitory windows right up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember the pain. So I'm not going to take my family through that again.
Gilliam's parents now have the 2 Super Bowl rings he once hawked to buy drugs. Rings he won under the guidance of Chuck Noll, the coach Gilliam speaks of with respect.
Chuck Noll told me one time, he said, Joe, you like to have fun. I said, yeah, coach. He said, you're going to fund your way right out of this league. And he was right. In the beginning, it was fun. But soon after, it wasn't fun anymore. It isn't fun now.
What's your path out of this?
I think that I will be alive and that I will prosper as long as I stay sober.
In fact, for Joe Gilliam, that is the question, isn't it? Because while he has been clean in stretches, he has also been in rehabilitation programs before. One thing Joe does have going for him, a number of family and friends in Nashville who are prepared to support him if he gets into and stays in a rehab program.
Rock-ribbed defense was nothing new for Pittsburgh fans, but Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam was. And he was magnificent, leading the Steeler offense to 30 points. Two first-year wide receivers, John Stallworth, number 82, and Lynn Swann, number 88, also had splendid debuts. In all, 14 rookies made the Steeler roster, and mixed with young veterans like Frank Lewis, number 43, the Steelers were young, but they were tough.